What's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more Etheria Restart. Now, we're going to be getting into the dual thorn Dinah. Now, Dinah is definitely an interesting debuffer. Not only is she able to lower the defensive layering of her targets, but she can then amplify how much damage they're going to be taking. Now, to explain that, let's go ahead and look at her skill 1, which is the Blade Mastery. So the blade pierces through the void. Dinah deals 240% damage to a single enemy with a 40% chance to steal 25% strike prep. So this is pretty straightforward. Do damage, you get some turn meter. Now, getting into the skill 2, which is the Blade Torrent, Dinah sees through enemy openings, dealing 2 hits of 140% damage to a single enemy, with each hit having a 80% chance to inflicting 2 stacks of erosion. And if the target doesn't have erosion, it increases the inflicted stacks to 3. Now, when we're looking at what erosion does, upon taking the next crit damage, it consumes 1 stack to take additional real damage equal to 40% of the attacker's attack and increases the attacker's strike prep by 8%. Now, what's really important to note about how this ability is working is that it is going to be, again, upon taking the next crit damage. So in order for you to take crit damage, you have to crit. So it is emphasizing that you need rate. Now, on top of that, the other thing is with erosion, this real damage or true damage that the target is going to be taking is going to be scaling off of the attacker's attack, which again is emphasizing you need attack. And then, of course, that will then give you an increase to the attacker's strike prep by 8%, right? Now, keep in mind the stacks. So from there, what you're able to basically do is go into your skill 3, which is the Pristine Cleaver. So nothing should have flaws, just as no enemy should escape in battle. Dinah deals 4 hits of 70% damage to all enemies, with each hit having a 40% chance to inflicting a 2-turn defense break. And if the target already has a defense break, instead has a 25% chance to inflict a 2-turn of vulnerability. And if the target already has vulnerability, instead has a 40% chance to inflict 2 stacks of erosion. So you're getting a lot of layering conversion. So it will go from it just being your typical defense break to, if it's a defense break, then you're going to be able to get vulnerability, which vulnerability increases damage taken by 30%. And then if there's already a vulnerability, then you'll be able to take advantage of using things like the erosion, which is going to further increase how much damage that character is able to take by taking true damage. And then you get a return on the attacker's strike prep. So this is an absolutely monstrous setup, and Dinah is going to be an extremely potent and very, 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 very insane character for any wave clearing content. Now, as far as our module recommendations, I would definitely say in the early game, you're going to have the Onslaught set, which on a 12 matrix bonus is going to be giving you an attack increase of 45%. Then when you're looking at getting some more sets accessible to you, I would definitely say the Harvest set will give you an attack increase of 10%. And when attacking, if the target's HP is above 50%, additionally ignore 30% of their defense. Then you'll have the Momentum set, so crit rate plus 12%. And when attacking, for each debuff or control effect on the target, damage is increased by 6%, up to a maximum of 30%. And then lastly, when you get into Cataclysm, you'll have the Fury Edge, which will give you a crit rate increase of 12% and also a crit damage increase of 20%. Now, as far as the main stat and substats that you would definitely want to focus, I would definitely say in the early game, you're going to easily want crit damage, crit rate, and attack percent. But once you get things fleshed out, then you can start aiming for things like, for example, crit damage and effect accuracy, or you can go for crit damage with crit rate with effect accuracy or attack. It just ultimately depends on what you need and what your roles might look like in your substats. And on the topic of substats, I would definitely say some of the ones you want to aim for would be things like, for example, crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and effect accuracy. These would be the most helpful substats to a character like Dinah. Now, as far as our skill prioritization, I would definitely say starting out with the skill 3, you're going to have in the first node an increase to the damage multiplier to 65%. The second one is going to increase the chance of inflicting erosion to 35%. The third one further increases the damage multiplier to 70%. And then the last one reduces the skill cooldown by 1 turn. Then going into the skill 2, you're going to have in the first node an increased damage multiplier to 130%. The second one increases the chances of inflicting erosion to 80%. The next one increases damage multiplier to 140%. And then lastly, if you successfully inflict it on a target who has no erosion effect, increase the stacks of erosion inflicted to 3 stacks. And then lastly, we have the skill 1, where it's going to increase the damage multiplier to 220%. The second one will increase the chances of action steal to 25%. The third one will increase the damage multiplier to 240%. And then lastly, it will increase the chances of action steal to 40%. Now, of course, getting into our shell recommendations, starting out with Jox, I would definitely say the Agent Lizard, Buddha Panda, Twilight Knight, Crossroads, White Fang, Golden Lion, Count. Now, of course, getting into our infamous pros and cons, I think some of the biggest pros that Dinah is bringing to the table is the fact that she has ever-evolving damage scaling. And this is something that really is going to be a huge plus to you, is that simply put, her skill 3 is unlike any other ability that's able to not only inflict a defense break, but then can basically evolve into another form of it being an additive debuff, which allows you to further take more damage, or deal more damage to the opponent. Now, this, of course, is something that really is going to be extremely potent when you're talking about the fact that this isn't just something that applies to just her, but it applies to your entire party being able to take advantage of it. So if she procs, say, defense break, they can use it. They get the vulnerability on the enemy side, your allies can use it. If she gets the erosion on the other side, then yes, they can use it. And so this is something that absolutely will be astronomical to even helping propel her for constant rotations and just making sure that you're always dealing maximum damage. Now, I would definitely say one of the biggest cons that she's going to run into, simply put, is the fact that she is going to be a fairly squishy unit. Now, the only counteracting thing to this is that you could technically build her to be more bulky just to land the debuffs, and maybe going for like things like HP defense with effect accuracy and effect res. But what you're going to end up losing is the actual scaling on the erosion, because that is based off of 40% of the attacker's attack. So unfortunately, there really is only one way you want to run her if you want to take advantage of the erosion. But if you're looking for just the constant of keeping her alive to land the debuffs and maybe even evolving them to at least the damage vulnerability, then I would definitely say that you would want to probably go for a more bulkier build. So with all of that being said, that's basically going to be that for the Dual Thorn Dinah. I hope that this was able to give you more insight on how this Animus works and maybe how you can incorporate her into your composition. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content from Etheria Restart. But that's going to be that with this one, guys. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.